Mini lessons help to give lessons purpose. I usually use mini lessons to help try out a skill, and I use them both in reading and writing workshop in our classroom. And it's really important to just give a vision at the end of a mini lesson for your students to try out in their reading and writing. There's this really great quote by Ray that says, "This kind of connection from seeing something in a book to imagining it as a specific possibility for someone in the room happens all the time and is one of the most important big ideas that informs all teaching across the year." And I really think that that quote is important because it really shows the connection between students viewing authors' work that they read and trying it out and seeing themselves as authors and writers and trying it out in their own work and their own stories that they're creating, and viewing the text that they're reading through an author's perspective and seeing themselves as an author. The mini lessons that you can do, there's 5 different categories of them. There's mini lessons that focus on techniques, strategies, understandings, conventions, and questions, and the different parts to a mini lesson. First, you want to connect to previous learning, whatever you guys are learning about in class that week or month. Second, you want to have a teaching point from one of the 5 categories that I previously mentioned. Third, you want the active engagement where you're involving your kiddos. And fourth, you want to link to their writerly or readerly life. So you can say, today and every day as writers, we practice using descriptive language or something like that. So just a couple examples. One of the recent mini lessons that I've done in my classroom, we are doing an author study right now on Patricia Polacco. And so I had already read the book, The Keeping Quote. As you probably know, Patricia Polacco's books are really long. So sometimes for the mini lesson, I'll just choose a section of the book to reread. And I set the intention before that we were going to look at the author's purpose. And we've been talking a lot about realistic fiction and her influence in that genre. And so I had them, I read a couple pages to them and set the intention at the beginning of focusing on Patricia Polacco's illustrations and how she purposefully made all of the pictures in black and white and just the quilt in color. And then we kind of stopped throughout the couple pages with planned stopping points of ways in which her language and the illustrations built on the theme of traditions and family heritage. And then at the end, we kind of talked about how the illustrations put that into play by having everything black and white and just the quilt in color, and how the quilt represented the family traditions. Another mini lesson that I've done recently with the same author study is printed out just a picture from one of Patricia Polacco's books from Pink and Say. And it is actually the book where Pink and Say are hiding in the cellar when the martyrs are coming to Momobe's house. And I had them practice using descriptive language to describe how the characters were feeling, the emotions that were shown on their face, kind of putting themselves in each character's shoes and talking about how each of the characters felt at that time, and just describing the scene that they saw around them, the cellar, what might be happening outside, the sounds they might be hearing, what they might be seeing. So those are just a couple mini lessons you can do. They're usually pretty short, so you want them to be maybe 5 to 7 minutes.